What if I told you that the single biggest threat to your career over the next 5 years isn't actually AI? What if it's the very thing you were told was your golden ticket, your college degree? You see, we all grew up with a clear set of rules, right? Go to a good school, get that degree, land a job, and just climb the ladder. But AI hasn't just changed the game. It's flipped the entire table over. Today, we're going to dig into the data behind the new rules of the job market. And I promise you, what we uncover is going to change how you think about your career forever. So let's just start with a number that should honestly stop you in your tracks. -46%. This isn't some projection. This is the actual real-world collapse in tech graduate jobs in the UK just between 2023 and 2024. I mean, it's a sheer cliff. And you need to understand this isn't just some isolated event. It's the first major tremor of a massive earthquake that's reshaping the entire professional landscape. And this brings us to our first very harsh reality check. It's what experts have started calling the entry-level apocalypse. Think about it. For anyone just starting out, or maybe you know someone who is, the traditional front door to a career, well, it feels like it's being bricked up in real time. This isn't just a temporary recession dip. It's a fundamental structural breakdown. Just look at this. Every single one of these metrics is pointing in the exact same grim direction. Entry-level job postings down a shocking 45% from the 5-year average. A recent Stanford study, it found that for young workers in jobs that are highly exposed to AI, well, their employment has already dropped by 13%. And this one is maybe the most shocking of all. Only 21% of entry-level applicants ever even get past the automated filters to speak to a real human being. So is it any wonder that more than half, 56% of graduating seniors are pessimistic about their own future? So you've got to be asking, right? Is this just a coincidence? Maybe it's just the economy. Well, this chart right here pretty much answers that question. A survey by IDC and Degree found that 2/3, a full 66% of companies, flat out admit they are cutting back on entry-level hiring specifically because of AI. This isn't an accident. They are making a conscious strategic choice to replace the bottom rung of the career ladder with an algorithm. And this is the human cost of those corporate decisions. 62%. We're talking about the majority of an entire generation standing right at the starting line of their professional lives, and they're looking out at this new world with a deep, profound sense of anxiety. You know, they did everything they were told to do. They played by the old rules. And now, the rules have just been changed on them without any warning. You know, it's really easy to point the finger at technology, to just say AI is the villain here. But what if that's just too simple? What if AI isn't really the cause of the problem at all, but it's just an accelerant, a catalyst that's exposing a much deeper, more fundamental weakness that's been hiding in our economy for decades? And this is where we have to completely flip our thinking. The problem isn't just that AI is automating basic tasks. The real story, the one we need to pay attention to, is what I'm calling the Great Degree Devaluation. That 4-year college degree, which for decades was the absolute gold standard for getting a good job, is quickly losing its value. Its currency is crashing. At the heart of all this is a concept called the false proxy. See, for years, companies used a degree as a proxy, a shortcut, a signal that you were competent, disciplined, and smart enough for the job. And for a while, it was a pretty useful shortcut. But today, it's become a false proxy. It just doesn't reliably predict who can actually perform in a world where the skills you need are changing like every few months. And it's not just a theory. A huge Harvard study analyzed millions of job postings, and the conclusion was just stark. When a company adopts generative AI, the number of junior hires declines sharply, but senior hires, that stays flat. So why is that? It's because AI lets companies completely leapfrog the old apprenticeship model. They don't need a junior person to do the grunt work anymore, and AI can do it, while a senior employee directs the AI. The training ground for the next generation of leaders, it's literally being automated out of existence. So if that old path, get a degree, then do an apprenticeship, is disappearing, what's going to replace it? If the degree is the old, devalued currency, then what's the new one? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Verifiable, demonstrable skills. It's a massive shift away from where did you go to school to what can you do for me right now? And this is now being formalized into a whole new strategy called skills-based hiring. And look, this isn't just another corporate buzzword. This is a new operating system for how we think about talent. It means companies are now actively starting to ignore those old signals like degrees, and instead, they're searching for people who have the specific required skills for a role, and they don't care how you got them. I mean, the contrast between the old world and the new world is it's night and day. Hiring for degrees is slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it often just reinforces existing privileges and biases. But the results from hiring for skills, they're staggering. Research shows performance ratings are 25% higher, and it dramatically expands the talent pool, opening doors for millions of incredibly capable people who were totally invisible before, just because they didn't have the right piece of paper. And look, this is not just some niche theory. The biggest companies in the world are already all in. IBM built a dynamic skills platform that literally saved them millions by reskilling their own people instead of firing them and hiring new ones. Unilever used this approach to find hidden digital talent within their traditional marketing teams. Siemens staffed its brand new smart factories by finding factory workers who also happen to have programming as a hobby. This is a proven, battle-tested business strategy that's happening right now. Okay, but this leads to a second and really crucial insight. In this new world, it's not enough to just say you have a skill on your resume. The whole system is shifting because that old signal of trust, the college degree, is broken. So if skills are the new currency, we need a new way to verify that that currency is actually real. You don't just have to have skills anymore. You have to be able to prove them. So that brings us to the infrastructure of this new talent economy. I mean, how do you actually prove your skills in a way that some employer anywhere in the world can look at it and instantly trust it? Well, the answer lies in building a portfolio of what are called digital credentials. Just think about this number for a second. A 2025 report from the World Economic Forum found that 74%, nearly three-quarters of all employers, now prefer to hire people with verified digital skills credentials over people who only have a traditional degree. Let that sink in. The preference hasn't just shifted, it has completely flipped. So what exactly are these credentials? They're called micro-credentials, and you can think of them as these targeted, laser-focused certifications that prove you have mastered a specific in-demand skill, like AI prompt engineering, or data analysis with Python, or UX design. These are not just online courses. You have to see them for what they are. They are the new infrastructure of the labor market. They are the new signal of trust. And the potential that this unlocks is just massive. Data from LinkedIn's own economic graph shows that by shifting to a skills-first approach for AI jobs, companies in the US can expand their available talent pool by 11 times. That's a tectonic shift in how opportunity gets distributed, connecting skilled workers directly to jobs they were previously completely locked out of. And this entire ecosystem is absolutely exploding. The big edtech platforms expanded their employer-verified programs by over 50% in just 1 year. Even the old guard, universities, are getting on board, with 62% now offering these pathways to supplement their regular degrees. And nearly half of the Fortune 500 have built their own internal systems for this. This isn't the future. This is the new reality. Okay, so we've covered the problem, the entry-level apocalypse. We've dug into the real cause, the great degree devaluation, and we've identified the new system that's being built on verifiable skills. So now, let's make this practical. Let's talk about you. This is your playbook for building an AI-proof career in this brand new world. It really comes down to 3 simple, actionable steps. Okay, step 1, identify. You have to become obsessed with the job market. Go on LinkedIn, go on job boards, and analyze the job descriptions in your field. What specific skills, what tools, what software platforms are they mentioning over and over and over again? Step 2, acquire. Don't go back for another expensive 4-year degree. Instead, pursue targeted, industry-recognized micro-credentials on platforms like Coursera, Udacity, or LinkedIn Learning. Get the exact skill you need. And then step 3, and this is the most critical part, signal. You have to make your skills visible. Build a portfolio of real projects that prove you can actually apply what you've learned. Display your digital badges and certifications right there, front and center on your LinkedIn profile. You have to show, not just tell. And so we end right where we began. The old rules are gone. The world of work has fundamentally and permanently changed. We are now in an era where your value isn't defined by your diploma. It's defined by your demonstrated capabilities. It's a world where what you can do matters infinitely more than what you once knew. The only question left is, are you ready to prove it?